Hello, good evening and welcome back once again on Friday night to In the Know, brought to you by the Racing Post and Coral. And we are at the halfway stage of a two-day classic extravaganza over at Epsom. We had a very dramatic Oaks this afternoon. Will we have a similarly dramatic Derby on Saturday? Well, we will be having a little bit of a look back through the action this afternoon and then getting properly stuck in to Saturday's card at Epsom. But that weather forecast once again potentially playing havoc with all the form study you've been doing in that big race tomorrow afternoon. So best of luck if you back Desert Crown anti-post. It could well be like the action last year in the Oaks, where they all come over to this near side, which they were already doing today anyway, and it can only get worse as the heavens potentially open. But we'll get into the whole how soft will the ground be debate as the evening goes on. But we'll be having a little bit of a look back, of course, to one of potentially the most unlucky losers in a classic you're ever likely to see. It still ended up O'Brien, Gosden, O'Brien, of course, but Emily Upjohn, nothing particularly went right for her, and Tuesday got it on the nod in the Oaks this afternoon. We saw a proper Group 1 performance from Hookham as well in the Coronation Cup. A couple of winners for William Buick as well, and some impressive handicap sorts throughout the afternoon. So that was Epsom Day 1. Epsom Day 2 certainly doesn't get any easier. And we do have another warm favourite, like we said, in Desert Crown in the Derby tomorrow. But there is pretty much every trial winner or runner up against him that could possibly have turned up tomorrow. So will it be plain sailing for this unbeaten colt, or will he get stuck in the mud or caught in some traffic? Well, fingers crossed we get a good clean race. You never know, we might find a winner or two. This is live and interactive, of course, on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for tuning in on this Friday night. Get in touch on the live chat box and let us know what you fancy. And if you haven't already, press the like button on the stream as well and subscribe to the Racing Post YouTube channel. My name is Ross Brierley, and wearing the colours of today's favourite didn't do her any luck. I wonder if this shirt will bring Desert Crown the same bad luck in the run as well. But Paul Keeley's already had enough. I insulted him enough last night, so he's decided to sack off the show tonight. But luckily, we have a much classier replacement in his place. It is, of course, the one and only Mr. Robbie Wilder's in the studio.
That's generous. I've never been described as classy before.
There you go. Well, I thought I'd turn it around. I was harsh on everyone last night. I'm going to be nice to everyone tonight.
I'm here for it. Just realised I'm actually wearing my Tuesday silks at the moment.
You are?
So quite in fitting with what happened today.
Yeah, you are indeed. And what did happen today? I mean, what a finish.
Yeah, you have to count it down as quite fortunate, really, don't you? I mean, Emily Upjohn, if she didn't stumble at the start, you'd have thought she'd have won by 4 or 5 lengths.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well, I think they're certainly 2 top fillies to take going forward. I mean, Tuesday only just turned 3, didn't she? So she's.
It was her birthday today.
Yeah, was it today? I thought it was yesterday, but I mean, yeah, there should be loads more to come, but Emily Upjohn is obviously the one to take out the race.
Yeah, it is indeed, albeit everyone will be taking Emily Upjohn out of the race, and the man who puts horses in the tracker left, right and centre sat at home, Tom Segal. Emily Upjohn won't be going into tracker. Far too obvious, Tom.
Yeah, no chance she's in the tracker. Nashwar will, though. But she just clearly didn't stay. I thought she travelled as well as anything. I thought Ryan Moore gave Tuesday a brilliant ride. And do you know what I especially liked was that the draw boars can suck it up for a few years now, because Adayar won from stall 1 and Tuesday won from stall 1. Totally Charming won from stall 1. Royal Champion won from stall 1. Can we please, for once, shut up about the draw in the Derby? You know, you can win from anywhere if you're good enough. Simple as.
Well, I mean, in the Derby in particular, Tom, box 1 now has a better strike rate than boxes 2, 3, 5 and 6. So, and that's just from the single figures. So actually, it's not a bad thing at all, especially when they all come off the rail anyway.
Yeah, I'm not sure they will tomorrow, whatever the ground, because they open up that new strip, remember, next by the far side. So that won't have been used at all. I mean, if the thunderstorms do hit, then they probably will come over. But I do think that the ground will be, well, they didn't really use that sort of bit in the that will be used where they'll come up the middle tomorrow. They didn't really use it, did they? Because they all shunned that. So maybe sticking down on the rail won't be such a bad thing tomorrow.
No, absolutely not. Other things to mention today, as well as Hookham, of course, we'll get to that in a second, but Royal Champion winning quite impressively in that handicap. Andrea Zini now 4 from 5 in that race for Roger Varian, which I thought was pretty spectacular. And it looks like maybe a Wolferton or a John Smith's Cup or something. I thought Royal Champion was pretty impressive.
Yeah, he was really good, wasn't he? I thought Totally Charming was really good too. I thought they 2 unexposed horses. What we were trying to say last night is you can go around in circles trying to work out pounds and ounces in these races, and then totally charming. He'd never run on turf or had one once on turf, and royal champion that'd been running in listed races, come into these handicaps. And trainers aren't stupid. I know some people, no names mentioned, don't think training's too hard. I completely disagree. I think that the key is knowing how good your horses are, and George Bowie and Roger Varian showed that in spades today, I thought.
Okay, very well. And just a mention of Hookham. It looked similar to last year, didn't it? Al-Arzi and Pile Driver, and then you had Hookham and Pile Driver. But what a lovely progression for Hookham, and all the Shadwell horses at that level they're having a right all season.
Yeah, they've kind of, the ones they've kept on have been excellent, haven't they?
Yeah.
I mean, they seem to have got rid of a lot of the deadwood, and they're reaping the rewards now. He's doing a lot of different things to Baaeed, isn't he? His brother.
He is.
He's looking at. I thought he was more of a 1-mile-6 horse, but I mean, he's sitting out that 1-mile-4 perfectly well today. He'll be a player in the King George, I'd say. But I mean, you'd like to think there'll be something better than that.
Well, I mean, that 1.5 division could be very interesting once the Godolphin 3 horse from last year turn up and whatnot as well. So Robbie and Tom will be going through tomorrow's cards, and ably assisted by the smartest man on the show by quite some margin tonight. It is, of course, Mr. David Stevens.
Good evening, Ross. Good evening, gents. Yes, I am still at Epsom, Aussie, hence the three-piece suit in honour of Her Majesty, who is just peering over my shoulder there. You might be able to see her. There she is. She's a big in-the-know fan. Never misses it. Happy Platinum Jubilee, Your Majesty.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Does she fancy anything tomorrow? Could you turn around and ask her?
She's keeping it very close to her chest at this moment in time, but I'll let you know as soon as I have it.
Okay, well, if she does go around the ring tomorrow, give us a shout, won't you? But what did you make of today's action, David? Have you enjoyed the day at the track? It's been a scorcher today. It might be very different tomorrow.
Yes, we spoke last night about who'd be a clerk of the course with weather forecast. We could have anything tonight, thunderstorms, whatever. Hopefully it might miss it. There's a couple I fancy tomorrow that want it to stay pretty good ground, but it was just great to be back here with a crowd, actually, and there'll be a massive crowd here tomorrow. In terms of the action on the track, Hookham, brilliant for our Coral ambassador, Jim Crowley. Came cantering into the race and put it to bed in a heartbeat. He's 16-1 for the Arc, but the Arc favourite, perhaps no surprise, is Emily Upjohn. We all know she was unlucky today, albeit Tuesday, as Tom said, got a brilliant ride from Ryan Moore from that stall one. So Emily Upjohn, 6-1 favourite for the Arc, 14-1 Tuesday, 16-1 Hookham. That's all in the future, obviously. But that man O'Brien, with these Galileo fillies, they are just extraordinary. Both the trainer and the sire and the mares are the fillies, because they're just so tough. And Tuesday placed in 2 guineas and came out and did that, albeit with that little bit of fortune that you often need around Epsom.
Absolutely, yeah. And in 4 or 5 years, I'm sure her daughters will be running in the same race, and it will go on until we're all dust, David.
Well, thank you for that cheerful thought, Ross. Some of us are nearer the dust stage than others on this show.
Fair enough. Well, you never know. You might get a bit of luck, like you said. But let's move on to tomorrow then, starting off in the 2 o'clock at Epsom. Good evening to Jesus. Speaking of dust, another day, another checkered shirt. Thank you, Jesus. Yeah, there you go. Shame I couldn't find the iron in the hotel room this morning. And you had a good day, Jesus, as well. So good shout out to yesterday, and a good shout out to the one comment that did tip the winner on the stream yesterday. People put the comments at the bottom, and they're very lively in the chat. I think we should give them more of a shout out. So Arkle TV said Tuesday as a model at 8-1 yesterday, crying out for the 1.5 miles. So big shout out from Arkle TV with the Oaks winner. See if that one can double up in the Derby. Maybe get your selection in if you're watching it live, Arkle TV. But the opening race at Epsom tomorrow is an absolutely red hot 3-year-old handicap here, which has got my juices flowing. Mr. Big Stuff is 9-2 favourite here. Blue Trail 5-1. Knowlton Cross 15-2. Warhorse 8-1. Box to Box 9s. Approachability 11-1. Swilken Bridge 12s. Taj Alola is 12-1 as well, and it is bigger prices than the rest. But this is red hot stuff here, and plenty of horses in very good form out of very good races, including the favourite Robbie, Mr. Big Stuff, which I believe is before Anti-Postman came in. That was your other nickname, but very, very unlucky last time out.
I like Mr. Big. Yeah, do you know who sung that?
Yeah, because they're all musical.
It's quite. I like that this owner just names them after songs and artists. So it's Out of Groove Jet, which was sung by Sophie Ellis-Bextor a few years ago. Yeah, Mr. Big Stuff was Gene Knight, of course. I like him. That London Gold Cup is always a red hot race, isn't it? And I thought he was the eye catcher in the race in 5th. He's denied in the run a couple of times. He's gone up a pound, and that shows you that the handicapper is well aware that the fifth was better than it suggested. But he's got Tyler Hurd claiming £5 off. Yeah, really like him. Even if you go back to some of his novice form, I mean, he's only beaten 6 lengths by Desert Crown on soft.
Look, cheek each way double tomorrow, maybe, for that form line.
It could be. Yonafis also beat him in a novice, and Al Kareem, they're both won on their subsequent starts. So I think there's a lot to like about this favourite. He's the one for me.
Okay, Mr. Big Stuff then at 9-2, who, nothing went right at Newbury for him. Tom, interesting draw in 13 as well. We've had a couple of renewals over the past 10 years where they've had big fields in this race, and they were double-figure winners. 15 runners, potentially in rain softened ground, over 10 furlongs for 3-year-olds. It could be messy.
Yeah, good thing about him, if the rain does come, I think he wants 1.5 miles, really. Groove Jet was second in the Park Hill over 1.6 miles. So I think he'll appreciate going up in trip eventually. I like Robbie. I thought he was unlucky. He was the eye catcher in the London Gold Cup. I'm not convinced it was that good a race as Robbie is. I thought there's some moderate horses in and around. Zoom had been beaten at Goodwood the time before. He was only beaten a couple. I think the winner's good, Ezra, and I think Mr. Big Stuff should have been second. But I think this could be equally as good a race. Obviously, the weather is the issue. I personally like Knowlton Cross. I thought the pace held up well today. If the conditions are the same as they were this afternoon, I think it'll be hard to come from behind. So Tyler Hurd will have to be on his mettle from stall 12, because I thought Sylvester's going to be off and gone on Knowlton Cross from 4. No one rides Epsom better. He was a massive eye catcher at Sandown last time. Went too slow. Harry Davis, everyone bigging him up, and he's obviously a jockey, an up-and-coming jockey that's going to the top. But I thought he rode a bad race on Knowlton Cross that day. He went far too slow. They sort of pounced on him, and then he got going again late on. I think Sylvester will be a totally different kettle of fish. I think he'll be up and gone. And the worry is if it's really, really soft ground, because he's by Indian Ridge. I know he's out of a Galileo mare. He'll stay the trip fine. I just wonder whether he'll want soft ground. But for me, it's Knowlton Cross. I think Blue Trail's got a chance and had a bigger price. The one name after the golfing place, Swilcan Bridge. Swilcan Bridge for Hayley Turner and Andrew Balding. Andrew Balding's got a good record with horses out there handicap in Epsom handicaps. He should have won at Goodwood 2 starts ago. Didn't run too bad. He's run well at Epsom before. He should have won at Epsom, one of those places. But he's run well at Epsom. He ran well at Goodwood 2. I think he's got a bit in hand at the handicapper as well. So it's a hard race. I'd be waiting on the ground. If it stays as it is, I think Knowlton Cross and Sylvester will be hard to beat. But if it gets rainy, Mr. Big Stuff and Swilcan Bridge.
Okay, there we go. A few opinions in the opening race. The slight concern I thought for Knowlton Cross, we said it might be up and gone, but you've got possibly box-to-box approachability, sweeping, Swilcan Bridge. There's quite a few horses, maybe even Sharp Combo, given it's a Johnston-Franny Norton combination. There might be a bit of pace on here. I quite liked Warhorse. He's one of those horses that's clearly got he's maybe a couple of sandwiches short of a picnic, but that's the application of cheap pieces last time out. He was in that Knowlton Cross race, Tom, and it was a bit of a muddling race, and I thought he went past them really easily. His form from last year reads really, really well. Obviously, soft ground might be a concern, but he didn't run badly behind Group Class Lusail on softish ground, and yeah, that Doncaster race a couple of starts ago, and his Goodwood made, and I think he could be interesting, Warhorse.
Yeah, undoubtedly. I mean, he ties in with the lot. I just think I'm not one that gets involved in paces, meltdowns and stuff like that. I always find if I do that, I get it wrong. I just like track position, especially at Epsom. I think Knowlton Cross will have track position. And I think that's just as important as, if you've got a good jockey and they're going too fast, you don't have to go to the front, does it? You don't have to be. So hopefully Sylvester will do the right thing if they're going too fast and drop him in just behind the pace. But I do think it's hard to come from behind. It looked it today. I know Emily Upjohn did it, but I think she's obviously very special. But in the last handicap, it was, the first two went big outsiders, went off in front, and they seemed to go as hard as they possibly could, and nothing could get to them. In the mile handicap, they went pretty quick, and the first 5, it was hard to come from off the pace. So I just think that Knowlton Cross might be the one, provided it doesn't rain. If it rains, who knows whether it'll handle the ground. It'll be the same.
Okay, thanks, Tom. David Stevens, live from Epsom. 15 runners in this 10 furlong 3-year-old handicap with rain on the way. Please give us 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe 11 places for the each ways.
Just 4 places each way, and I'm having slight technical issues here at Epsom. I'm not sure what Her Majesty didn't like about what we said. 4 places each way here, and I just think Swilcan Bridge that Tom's already mentioned. I know there's quite a bit of confidence behind Connections. They've won this race twice in the last 5 years, both trained by Andrew Balding. Was 3rd here and then 2nd at Goodwood. And I thought Tajalola was another one, 2nd at Ripon. He's only run 4 times on turf, but has won 2 of them. Pair of 12 to 1 shots there.
Okay, thank you, David Stevens. At home, Blue Trail for Darren Walker is on the opener. Luke Salmon's going for Mr. Big Stuff. Knowlton Cross for Prometheus. And that's about it, pretty much, off our viewers at home. So that's the opener at Epsom. Moving on to the second race of the day. A couple of Group 3s on the card at Epsom supporting the Derby tomorrow. The first one of those is the Princess Elizabeth Stakes. Group 3 here for fillies and mares. And again, another nice little lineup here. At Bashkirova 11-4, Potapova 7-2, Mrs. Fitzherbert 4-1, Roman Mist 7s, Technique 7s, Majestic Glory 10s, Miss Marble 10s, Statement was favourite for this last year, I think, is 20-1 outsider for New Connections. Flash Betty and Rolling the Dice in there as well, and pretty much every single one of these runners in the certainly in the single figure betting here. Tom comes into it in very good form, but it is of course the wonderful silks of the Shively Park operation, who we've mentioned time and time again on this show, don't really miss.
No, are we at Epsom or Wimbledon? It sounds like the 3rd round, doesn't it? Bashkirova versus Potapova.
Lots of grunting.
They've got a lot of tennis players actually, haven't they? Shively Park in there. There's like Davydenko, isn't there?
Yeah, that's
a couple of others that escaped me. Please carry on.
Thanks. I didn't like either of them actually. I know they're both by Pivotal. They're both got Pivotal in the family anyway. They're not by Bashkirova's by Pivotal. The other one's Damsar is Pivotal. So they should like the ground. I thought they could be taken on. I'm not sure they should be at the head of the market. I like 2 in this. I like Mrs. Fitzherbert. I thought she was really impressive. She was in my tracker, Ross. She's been in my tracker for many months now, since she ran to my catching races on the all-weather. I thought she was good at Goodwood the other day. I don't think she'll mind if it rains that much. She's by Kingman. Kingman's won the last 2 runnings of this race. He could make a treble with Mrs. Fitzherbert. I thought she'd go well. And I also like the horse dropping back in trip, Technique, for Freddie and Martin Mead. I think she's been crying out to come back in this trip. I think she's got the best form. She was 4th in the Nassau. She ran a blinder at Salisbury, where she was beaten on the nod by Lilac Road, who's now a Group 2 winner. And they were miles clear of some good horses. Thought it was interesting that the Meads, Freddie Mead, was put on the licence this week. They haven't had a runner since this is their first runner. I'm not sure. I think he's quite well. She is quite well fancied for this. I think she'll go well. She likes Epsom. She was 2nd in the trial here last year. She was just once again caught on the line that day by Worko. I like her and I like Mrs. Fitzherbert, but a lot of it depends on the pace. I think they go very slow. Sylvester's got a chance once again on Simon Crisford's filly, Mrs. Marble, of sort of poaching a lead. Parents' Prayer did the same. Summer Romance, the last 2 winners have done that. But if they go at normal pace and a decent pace, and I think they'll be wise to it with the 2 Cheveley Park horses, I fancy Mrs. Fitzherbert and Technique.
Okay, Mrs. Fitzherbert is a 4-1 shot, Technique 7-1. Yeah, I was going to say it might be a bit harsh to say Technique doesn't want to win, but does she want to win? But I guess if she's not getting home over 10, it might be that might be the clue there.
Possibly. Like Tom, I was drawn to that Nassau Stakes form immediately. But I mean, this is quite a big drop-in trip. Maybe she'll need the ground to sort of ease up a bit more to make it more of a stamina test. I was surprised Bashkirova and Mrs. Fitzherbert were that different in the market, considering Miss Fitzherbert beat her quite not snugly, but quite. She was quite on top of the line, I thought. And they're both making their seasonal reappearances. One's rated higher than the other. So I just thought Mrs. Fitzherbert was a bit too big. So that's my selection, yeah.
I thought Bashkirova went for home. It was one of those classic Goodwood races where a couple of horses get racing as they turn into the home straight.
Yeah,
and one of them. Yeah, I think it probably cost her. But there's nothing to say that won't happen again, of course.
No, possibly, yeah. What would you side with Bashkirova?
Well, I thought Potapova was the interesting one. She seems like a classic horse that made a really dramatic impression early on in her career, and then was lumped up way too soon into the top level, and is just starting to find it. I think she should have won at Kempton last time out. I think in another few strides she would have got there. But I think there's a potential. I mean, the 4th of Saffron Beach is obviously red hot form as well, and she was. she drifted at Ascot behind alcohol-free last year, but she was sort of single figures a couple of
I remember she put out that crazy performance of Redcar. Yeah. But I mean that was heavy ground at Ascot, so you can draw a line through that. Yeah, I get it. It's a really tough race, to be honest. Like, you can make a case for 6 or 7.
Well, yeah, and I was going to say, I mean, last year's statement that came into this folly, the Mead team, Tom, as a 7-4 favourite, and is now 25-1, 20-1 for New Connections, having been sold for a 6-figure sum.
Yeah, not for me statement. Really disappointing after she ran so well in the Fred Darling, was it last year, Dubai Duty Free race when she got touched off by alcohol free. That form's very good. The third was something I can't remember, but it won at York and looked really good. The form's red hot from that run, but she sort of went off the boil last time. I much prefer technique, and I am not for 1 minute worried about the drop back to 1.5 miles a furlong. I think that's what she wants. I think she's got plenty of pace. She was in front miles out at Salisbury. She was in front miles out when she got touched off here, and I just don't think she stays. And I think back at this trip, I think she'll go really well.
Okay. David Stevens, over to you with a tasty price boost, please.
Yes, indeed. The Cheveley Park tennis players, Potapova and Bashkirova. You can have both of those running for you, even money from 4 to 5. I thought it was a really trappy little contest, and see a couple of them, Mrs. Fitzherbert and Roman Miss. Mrs. Fitzherbert has got the form with Bashkirova. Potapova's got the form with Roman Miss. They're all closely tied in together. It looked really difficult. I'm just hoping we've put 50p in the meter here, so I'm hoping it's a better connection now.
Lovely stuff. I think it's wonders there. So thank you for that, David. Cheveley Park stood to own the winner of the 235 at Epsom, and even money out from 4 to 5. Not much juice in that price, guys. Not much juice in that price. On the viewers at home, Mrs. Fitzherbert for Dante 44. We've Luke Salmon's also on Mrs. Fitzherbert as well. Roman Mist and Miss Marble for Damon Moffat in the Princess Elizabeth Stakes. As we move on for the third race on the Epsom card tomorrow, it is another Group 3 contest, the Diamond Stakes here. And it looks a red-hot renewal here, but we do have a short price favourite in the shape of Modern News, who's 11 to 8. Mutasabek 9 to 4. McGallan is 6 to 1, with Finest Sound also at 8 to 1. Zakuski 11 to 1, and Escobar, the outsider of the bunch, the quirky but talented, and bizarrely coming into this off the back of a win, which is rarely said about Escobar. But just the 6 runners, but. Despite being 11 away, this looks a red-hot renewal. Modern News, though, in good form, won nicely at Newbury. Looked a bit in trouble at Windsor last time out, but picked up really well and pulled away to score. Is up in grade here today for Charlie Appleby and William Buick. Robbie, we were talking about this off-air. And we were kind of saying, sure, Modern News, a worthy favourite in a sense, but this is a red-hot race, and even Escobar can't be ruled out.
I'm not even sure he is a worthy favourite, to be honest. I mean, the market is kind of correcting itself a little bit. I mean, when I was looking at this yesterday, Modern News was even money and Mutasabek was 7 to 2. And I think Mutasabek's run last time in the Bet 365 mile is better than anything Modern News has achieved. I mean, he was the moral winner there, hard luck story, didn't get the run until it was too late, finished with loads in the tank. He also goes on soft ground. Modern News, there's no soft ground form in his CV whatsoever. Mutasabek dropping from a Group 2 to a Group 3. I think he should be favourite, frankly, so he's got to be the bet.
Okay, Mutasabek then a 9 to 4 shot for Charlie Hills and Jim Crowley. We were saying about the Shadwell horses having a right old season. Charlie Hills having a right old season. Jim Crowley riding with confidence. Should have won last time out at Sandown. I can certainly see why Robbie would fancy Mutasabek. But got a couple of those. We were just talking about technique dropping back in trip. There's a couple in here, Tom, that have been screaming for a shorter distance that they've got today as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope you're talking about Finest Sound and Zakuski. I think they'll like the drop back in trip for sure. I'm with Robbie. I'm not quite sure why Modern News is favourite. I don't think he will be tomorrow. I think Mutasabek will be favourite. I think they've overrated the Modern News Windsor run. You get rolling at Windsor on fast ground and you can do anything, in my opinion. I think Mutasabek's got better form. I think Magellan's got better form. I would also think that his stablemate might not be far behind him either. Zakuski, I thought this was really tricky. I fancy Mutasabek to win. I think the price is going, but I think you'll still beat the odds at 9 to 4. I think he'll be nearer 7 to 4 tomorrow. I think he he's the one to beat. I'm worried about the ground if it goes soft for Magellan and for Finest Sound being by Exceed and Excel, even though he ran well at Royal Ascot one year when he was second in the Britannia. He was racing on the mark in the 80s then. I think he wants faster ground, as I think the same with Modern News. So the rain must stay away for them. I'm a Mutasabek fan, and I think Escobar is overpriced.
Okay, yeah, Escobar, who won over 7 furlongs last time out, and might be a bit of an "oh, this is us" in terms of an old quirky horse who might rattle down the outside to score. But yeah, Zakuski dropping 4 from 5 over a mile, dropping in trip. Finest Sound, of course, back down to the distance that he was running in the Britannia, of course, a few years ago. Magallan's won his last 2 over the mile, Mutasabek, who, like we said, has got soft ground form and was in good nick at Sandown last time out. So it's an open race here, David Stevens. But Tom seems to think the Modern News might well be going off second favourite at the very least behind Mutasabek. Is that what the compilers are telling you ahead of this race?
Well, certainly if he continues in the direction he's going. I mean, he was odds on 10 to 11 24 hours ago, as Robbie alluded to. Mutasabek is the one that's gone the other way, and I'm going to be a third vote for Mutasabek. Obviously, ridden by Jim Crowley. He speaks in his blog. He really should have won on him at Sandown when the gap came. He still flew home, but just couldn't get there. He's desperate to get back on this horse, like all the Shadwell horses that they're left with. They're hopefully left with the cream of the crop and got rid of all the rest. He's got the Group 1 entry in the Sussex Stakes. There's less question marks over the ground than his major market rival. So yeah, I'm another confident selection for Mutasabek.
This might be a four-way agreement, David.
You normally like to be contrary.
I do, but I don't know. I don't like to be contrary. I just tend to disagree with you all. No, I don't, Tom. I do not like to be contrary. Don't know what you're talking about. Just a quick word on Charlie Hills as well, Tom. I was kind of having a look at this last week. You've got your kind of trainers, your Ed Walkers, your Hugo Palmers to an extent, and your Charlie Hills have probably been going sort of 10 or 11 years apiece, and it's really starting to come together. 25% strike rate for Charlie Hills this year, 32 winners from 129 runners, and despite the Shadwell operation, starting to get a little bit smaller for obvious reasons, he's doing even better, if anything.
And, I think that's right. I think that there's more chance now for the middle-ranking trainers because there's so few really good horses. I think the sire crop are tailored for the shorter distances now. All the horses that go to stud are tailored for shorter distances, and so there's more accessible for all the sort of middle-ranking trainers to get good horses, and we're seeing it. We're seeing it as we saw in the Oaks. It's hard to get hold of mile-and-a-half horses, for sure. But a little bit lower down the pecking order in races like this, I think they've got good chances. We saw it with Dream Loper for Ed Walker the other day. And Charlie Hills did well. Pogo last week. He's got a very good chance here with Mutasabek as well. I think he'll win. Okay,
Mutasabek for Tom. Robbie?
Mutasabek, absolutely, yeah. Very confident.
Yeah, okay, very confident. Yeah, I mean, we're getting too confident, if anything. I am with Mutasabek as well. So, David Stevens, please put the cherry on the cake.
Absolutely, 4 votes for Mutasabek. We do have another price boost here, although not many of us fancy Modern News. We do fancy Mutasabek, but the reverse forecast, the front 2 in the betting, was 2 to 1, now 5 to 2. But it sounds like the danger might be Modern News finishing second to Mutasabek.
Modern News and Mutasabek to finish first and second in either order in the 3:10 at Epsom, 5 to 2, out from 2 to 1 then for the Diomed Stakes. That's the third race on the Epsom card. Hopefully 4 votes for Mutasabek will come off tomorrow. Especially I put my contrary hat to one side. We go to Epsom then for the 3:45 for a 20 runner 5 furlong handicap. Obviously, it is the Epsom Dash here, which is just one of those races where you know after about 100 yards whether you've got any chance whatsoever. And 99% of the time you haven't. But Fine Wine is certainly ageing like the name after a box-to-box win last time out at York. Is 13 to 2 favourite for Scott Dixon and Jonathan Fisher. Stone of Destiny is 7 to 1. Mockatil 8 to 1. Live in the Dream is 8 to 1. King of Stars is in at 9s. Dusky Lord 12s. Sunday Sovereign 12s. T Spirit 12s. Bigger prices the rest. Just another bottle would have a bit of a chance as well. Bigger prices Live in the Moment for Adam West as well. Old boy Blue de Vega's having a good year. Equality. plenty of ability, but a few questions about that mental capacity with him. Midwinster and Tone the Barone as well. So lots of good 5 furlong sprinters here, as you would expect. But Fine Wine is the favourite for Scott Dixon and Jonathan Fisher. One of those Scott Dixon's horses, he has quite a few of these sprinters, your Dark Shots, your Zargans and your Fine Wines, Tom, who they race 20 times a season. They blast off from the front more often than not, and they pick up prize money and they win their fair share. And they couldn't get anywhere near him last time out at York.
I don't say this very often, but where the hell is Paul Keeley when you need him? Goodness, I could not think of a more boring race than the Dash, but we'll carry on. We'll give it a shot.
I mean, the upside is it's over very quickly for you, Tom.
Well, I won't be watching it, but it will be over. If I was watching it, it would over in 53 seconds, that's for sure. Not my type of race at all. Have not a clue where they're going to go, what they're going to do, what's going to happen here, there and everywhere. This is Keels' type of race. He's the man to follow. I do think that there used to be you need a high draw. Last few years, I think you've been able to win from anywhere, really. I think King of Stars is an interesting horse if the rain stays away. He was very good at Yarmouth last year. It did rain that day as well, and he's only £4 higher than that. But look out, Louis, who's done very well since, and he beat him absolutely pointless. So if he could blast out from stall 20, he might be hard to catch. Stoner Destiny obviously was unlucky a few years ago, but he's always unlucky, Stoner Destiny. When he won the Portland, he never had to go around another horse. They all sort of stuck in the middle, and he was left on the near side. Fine Wine, you've talked about. Mockatil loves Epsom. Living the Dream, Train round the corner. There's loads you could fancy. It's not a race I have too much interest in. I thought Equality, if he bounced out, if he got the start right, could go well, but I'll leave this one to you guys because I don't have a clue.
There we go. And if we take that last bit out of context, we can give some ammunition to Paul Keeley for last night. But your favourite here is Fine Wine. What I thought was quite interesting when I was looking into this race, Robbie, is that obviously incredibly fast 5, a quirky course. Say what you like about the kind of race, but actually, if you backed horses with proper 6 furlong form, you'd have had a significantly better strike rate than the pure speedsters, and that went for your Mockatils. And
that's true, particularly the way the rain's going. You're going to need to stay. And I like Stoner Destiny. I don't really like the race though, because as I always say, sprints, you run them 100 times, you get 100 different results. Like you're going to need so much luck. But I mean, the reality is, from a handicapping perspective, Stoner Destiny's £10 lower than he was last season when he was rattling home. He gets 6 furlongs. Easing ground, not too much of an issue. He's going to need luck, but they're all going to need a bit of luck. He's the one for me, but it's quite tentative. Yeah. It is one of those races where you switch it on, you think, I wonder how Stoner Destiny's going to go, and after 100 yards you go, shouldn't have got involved. But like I said, I think the potentially the angle is that they're going to go off quick here, and it could well set it up for a horse with a bit more stamina. Mockatil, I think, obviously has a big chance. He loves the track. Sunday Sovereign was a little bit interesting. I thought, so, like you said about the draw, Tom, I thought Just Another Bottle from box 1, he was heavily beaten on his only start here at this track, but that was a few years ago, and he's a much better horse now. And we've had, I think we've had 2 horses from box 1 and 1 from box 2 in this in the past 10 years. So actually being isolated down the middle, avoiding all the mess. And when we saw Bowman earlier on, over 6 furlongs come from the very wide outside to get on the speed, it might not be the worst thing for Just Another Bottle. I thought he could go well.
Absolutely. I mean, half the field are going to get in each other's way, aren't they? And if you can get a clear run, wherever track you're at, it's a massive advantage in these 5 furlong races that take 50 seconds. So Just Another Bottle from stall 1, it wouldn't be a problem. I can clearly see that. He looked, it's got a class edge. Definitely got a class edge. I think the pace is 1:20, funnily enough. I thought King of Stars is really fast. If you look back at his Goodwood run last year when the heavens opened again, he doesn't really like soft ground, so that would be a worry. But he was leading El Astronaute and all those ornates and horses like that for 3 furlongs. He's very fast. If there is an advantage up the stands rail, he might be off and gone before half of them know what's happening. I certainly wouldn't rule out the King of Stars. Just Another Bottle on the other side. You've got Fine Wine in 7. They're just going to go really, really fast. I personally have I've said it before. I don't understand sprint handicaps these days because I just don't know they're all so tightly matched. In the old days, you used to have 9 stone 10 to 7 stone 10. You'd have class differentials. You'd have horses. Now there's like £10 between a lot of them. Or, you know what I mean? And it's just all, as Robbie says, it's what happens on the day. I have no idea what's going to happen in this. I'm hoping King of Stars wins because I know the owners and I'd love it to win for them. I do think down the other side, Just Another Bottle has a very good chance too.
Okay, there we go. The Epsom Dash then, 3:45 tomorrow. We've got two tipsters who, quite frankly, will be struggling to have 10p each way, I think, on this, David. Can you give a bit of love for the Dash?
Well, I think I'm going to have to after that. But yeah, I mean, the two horses on my list have both been given a good mention there. King of Stars is this one that I really do not want the rain for. I've already backed him earlier in the week. Typically, there has to be a slight doubt. Like Tom, I also know the owners of this horse. I think if it goes very soft, then I think the horse probably won't run anyway, King of Stars. But he's drawn in one. Quick ground, if he gets out early on quick ground, then he could be very hard to pin back. But there's that massive question mark with this rain tonight. And then contrasting, going right over to the other side, to which you've already mentioned also, Just Another Bottle. He has got the class horse on his class form on his best form. He's drawn in one, as I say, I'm going one either side of the, well, hopefully I'm going one either side of the track if the rain stays away. And for the reasons Robbie said, that's why have a punt at anything here. A horse like Stone of Destiny, Sunday Sovereign, they don't win very often, but their turn will come around at some point in a race like this.
Yeah, and Sunday Sovereign, I think, was he finished second in the same race at York last year before, in theory, coming into this. He was pulled out on the day, but I think he was sort of favoured or second favourite. And again, he's another one who's 12 to 1 and a little bit forgotten for Tim Easterby, and he was beaten on the line last time out. So I think we managed to we ended on a bit of a high there for the Dash. So just another bottle, maybe with a saver for Sunday Sovereign for me. But Robbie, you'll be having 10p.
Stone of Destiny, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't get too stuck in a race like this.
No, not your type of.
I'd get rid of sprints.
You'd get rid of sprints, yeah?
You can't read. Well, I just don't like the way...
Just for your own personal...
Just on a wider note, I don't like the way the breed is going with this obsession for speed.
Yeah.
Because...
You're more a stamina man.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah?
I'd rather run 5k than 100 metres, that's for sure.
Yeah, OK. All right, fair enough. Well, there you go. Robbie, strong words from Robbie there. Get rid of sprints, says Robbie, Tom.
Well, look, good sprints are good sprints, aren't they? Races like the Commonwealth Cup do nothing for me. So yeah, I'm sort of in his domain there. Yeah, I mean, I'd much prefer. Look, forget the Dash. Let's get on to the proper race. This is the race we're all here for. The Derby.
Let's move on, Ross.
Come on, Ross, move on.
All right, fair enough. Well, I just, I'm ironically taking my time on the Dash. OK, and David, wrap us up. What's the pick?
I'm still reeling from Ross there, making his pitch to... Robbie, to make his pitch to Run British Racing. First thing you do is scrap sprint. Controversial. King of Stars, if the rain stays... Well, I'm already on, if the rain stays away. If not, I hope they pull him out. And Just Another Bottle, drawn out of one.
OK, best of luck in the Dash. I've got a few at the Greatest Showman for Sharp Fitness. Look, Kieran Caddison with Living the Dream, and a few others. Master Matt for Off World at a big price as well. Prometheus says Sunday Sovereign, one more chance, as does Luke Salmon. Right, from the Dash then to the Derby with Desert Crown potentially looking for a Saturday afternoon coronation. 15-8 for Sir Michael Stout. 2 from 2 so far after bolting up at York in the Dante. But of course he does have pretty much every trial winner turning up against him here. Can the Ballydor Battalions make it 2 classics on the weekend with Stone Age at 9-2? They've also got Changing of the Guard, of course, at 8-1. Nation's Pride, who has improved out of all recognition for the team that won this race last year, of course, at 15-2. Pisbadil 10-1, a little bit unlucky not to be 3 from 3. Star of India, another trial winner for Aidan O'Brien at 14s. Walk of Stars in at 14s. Nahani, that form worm's working out well last time at 20-1. Also at bigger prices again. We've got plenty in here with chances. We've got a big field, 17 runners going to post. We've got Westover, of course, who won at Sandown last time out. Royal Patronage, of course, who was comfortably beaten behind Desert Crown, but he brings Guinea's form into it as well, which not many of these do. West Wind Blows, Masakela, Sunny Liston, Glory Days, Grand Alliance, Huya Mal, and even El Habib, who ran to an RPR of 85 on debut. That's better than half the field ran to on debut. So I wonder what he could do for Stan Moore. I'm not saying he's going to win at 250-1, but why not, eh? Why not for Stan Moore and John Egan? But it's Desert Crown who's obviously taking all the headlines here, Tom. 15-8 for Sir Michael Stout, who, of course, used the Dante to good effect with Workforce in particular. Northlight as well. Could it be another Stout winner in the Derby? And were you impressed with that York performance.
Yeah, how could you not be? I mean, look, I was probably a little bit downbeat about the dash there, but this is the race that I've been waiting for. I wait for every year. It is the best flat race on the planet, bar none. I love it. I think Desert Crown it's got all the strands this year that you've been looking for. You've got an unbeaten favourite trained by a master trainer. You've got O'Brien's coming out your ears. You've got Godolphin horses. You've got Donica you've got different stallions. You've got different sides. You've got all the ingredients of a brilliant race. Let's hope the rain doesn't spoil it, because that would be a real shame if we got them running all over the track and some going this side, some going that side, because that would be a disaster. But I think it's an absolutely wonderful race, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. I haven't looking forward to a derby like this one for many years. I think Desert Crown was exceptionally good at York. The thing is, what's exceptionally good? I mean, these 3-year-olds, they're all improving at rate knots. Which was the best race? People say that the Dante was the best race. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure if you ran Bluegrass, who was third in the Dante against Changing of the Guard, Stone Age and Star of India, they'd probably all beat him as far as Desert Crown would. The question is, it's only his second ever run. I think he won't mind if it rains a bit. He won his maiden on soft ground. He's going to take a massive step forward. I'd love him to win because he's an unbeaten colt. I haven't backed him. I've backed a few others in the race against him. But I think it's a brilliant race, and I can't wait for it.
Yeah, it is an absolute blinder, certainly befitting the memory of Lester Piggott here, because this is a proper derby. All the right
love it, yeah.
All the right form.
Race of the season so far, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I've been against Desert Crown. I think he's going to be the best horse in the race, but it's just that inexperienced angle. I can't remember a horse coming into the derby off 2 runs being so well fancied. But I mean, that Dante ran an RPR of 120 on his second start is crazy.
Yeah,
he was brilliant that day. But like Tom says, I mean, yeah, you put the horses he beat in different trials, and the same story might have occurred. There's not loads of soft ground form in this field. I'm warming to Changing of the Guard for a little bit. I mean, the way he won at Chester over a mile 4.5. I mean, he's definitely going to stay. I think a lot of these there's potential stamina doubts. I think he's going to run his race, but the horse I've backed long term is Sunny Liston. I'm a little bit concerned about the ground, but I just thought in the D stakes behind Star of India, there was a massive disparity in prices for a long time. Even though I thought Sunny Liston shaped just as well as Star of India did. He had, as always the case at Chester, you do get horses that are unlucky. They get bad trips, wide trips, lose ground. He was finishing best of all. He didn't have the best trip at all. And he's about 40 to 1. And I think one firm, well, I don't know, what Coral playing 4 places? Sunny Liston, yeah, I'd take a bit of that at 40 to 1 odd.
David, how many places have we got in this Red Hot Derby?
Yes, we are 4 places in the Kazoo Derby, absolutely.
Okay, good stuff. Yeah, Desert Crown then 15 to 8, but Sunny Liston.
Just about. I'm going to go and change in the guard as well, I think, with the way the weather's going.
Okay. Cheap Pieces on for the first time. He's interesting. I thought that both the O'Brien horses. We were talking about the Oaks yesterday, about the O'Brien horses, how they improve into their 3-year-old season. Both of these didn't win at 2. They won maidens and then really impressively won trials since. They both dominated from the front. I thought Changing the Guard would give them an absolute peach of a ride at Chester.
Yeah, it was. But we shouldn't forget that New London at one point was Derby favourite, wasn't he? And he's just completely dampened his sort of reputation. I mean, he still might be a very good colt. So, yeah, I just thought that I was really blown away with him at Chester, because there was the vibes at New London was like Godolphin's main one. Yeah,
but he couldn't lay a glove.
No, he couldn't. No. Okay. But yeah, like you said, brilliant ride. But yeah, we'll learn a lot, won't we, tomorrow?
We will indeed, yeah. Like I said, we've also got the Stone Age in there, who bolted up at Leopardstown, who just kept going and going and going. Let's talk about the 2 Godolphin runners here, Tom. Nation's Pride, who has only been beaten once, and that was when very experienced on debut at Yarmouth last year. And in particular, you got Walker Stars as well, but I thought Nahani was potentially a bit overpriced. I don't know if it's the Epsom Derby trial kind of thing. People don't think it's a very good race, but every single one of Nahani's form lines is working out an absolute treat.
Yeah, he's very well bred by Frankel. I don't think he'll mind the ground. I think he's got to take a massive step forward on form. But as we say, all these horses can take massive steps forward. Wasn't sure about Walker Stars. I know Kieran Fallon in the paper tomorrow is saying that he's the best value against a favourite. He's ridden him a few times and thinks he's improving fast. He's got a very similar profile to Adair. I'm not sure he's quite the form of Ade. I mean, the horse that beat him at Lingfield's not even turning up. Nation's Pride, yeah, nothing wrong with that. Looked really impressive at Newmarket. Not sure he'll stay by Teofilio, I think, isn't he? So he's got stamina on his start, but his dam side's really quite quick. I'm against changing of the guard, boys. Sorry, I don't like cheap. He did absolutely nothing wrong at Chester. They put cheek pieces on. Wayne Lorden's riding him. That doesn't strike me as though they fancy him very much. To me, listen. If the rain came and it turned into a slog, he's going to stay, isn't he? Because we know he stays. But I don't think he can run fast enough. Star of India, I think, is going to take a massive step forward. I was quite impressed with the way he knuckled down and he got low to the ground at Chester. I think he's a good horse going forward. But I think Stone Age is their one, and I think he's the major danger to Desert Crown. I think he does everything right. I think he's going to make the running. I think he's going to have track position. I think Ryan Moore's chosen him. I don't think he'll mind if it rains that much. He wouldn't want it heavy.
Well, I mean, Ryan got. It's interesting. He got so much abuse last year for pretty much, in people's minds, getting it completely wrong in both the Oaks and the Derby. He's got it absolutely right in the Oaks. It would be quite the redemption if he did the same tomorrow.
Well, I think he's the clear form choice of theirs. Myself, I think he's the best horse of theirs. I don't think it's that close, to be perfectly honest. I think he's a really good colt. I think he's had a perfect preparation. He's got experience. He's got a nice draw. He's going to stay. I think he's got everything going for him. I really do. Listen, it sounds boring, but I think it's between, I think the top two stand out. I think you're slightly guessing with the rest. Maybe Nation's Pride, maybe Pisbadil. But I think the others have got a long. We saw today. It was the first three in the market. Came first four in the market were class above. I think that might be the case tomorrow. I slightly prefer Stone Age over Desert Crown. I think he's more certain to stay, and I think he's going to have the track position, which Desert Crown might not, because I think he's a strong free. He's not free going, but he's a strong galloper. I think they might make the running with him. I think people are expecting that not to happen, but I think that could happen, and I think he might be hard to catch.
Okay, well, it worked with Serpentine, didn't it? Albeit that was a very weird race. But Desert Crown 15-8 then. Just so easy now, but obviously that's what happens with these kind of horses, isn't it, David? They're quietly fancied. They win a trial, everyone smashes into them, and then come the declarations, everyone goes, well, you know what? This is a warmer race than we gave it credit for.
Yeah, and we saw that with Emily Upjohn today in the Oaks. Actually, she drifted this morning out to around 13-8, 7-4, having been favoured obviously ever since her York win. Just first of all, to echo what Tom said at the start here, this is a brilliant race this year. I love the Derby every year, like Tom. This is a brilliant race. Okay, you could argue the one kind of form line we're really missing is, say, a Luxembourg from the Guineas. But apart from that, we've got everything else here that you want. You know, you've got form from Chester, from Leopardstown, from York. You've got the runner-up from Lingfield. You've got the Epsom trial winner here. You've got the Sandown trial winner. I genuinely, whoever wins this, and I just, like Tom, I hope the rain doesn't ruin it tonight and it just becomes a bit of a war of attrition. I mean, if it does, then that's where Ballydoyle are so well placed with someone like Changing of the Guard, who will get a mile and a half. But yeah, I think it's a quality race. Desert Crown is almost, if you like, the sexy one. He's the unbeaten one. It's a lovely story around the trainer. He wasn't really ready for York by all accounts. You know, it was a rush to get him there. So there could be untold improvement to come. But it's just that inexperience does worry me about Desert Crown. And again, I'm sort of echoing Tom all the way here, but I'm a massive Stone Age fan. He's now a bigger price than he's been, before his win at Leopardstown. And he was favourite for the Derby in the immediate aftermath of that. Ryan Moore on board, big plus, albeit you wouldn't be put off by the other two having someone else on board. Ryan's actually only ridden one Derby winner for Aidan O'Brien. The rest have all been ridden by others. But I say there's so many different form lines all bringing together in here. And I even like the fact that there are, on paper, 4 or 5 sort of, call them no hopers, but big priced outsiders, 17 runners. That's what you want. A 10 runner Derby would be no good at all. So I just say, whichever horse goes out here and wins this, let's hope it is the best horse wins. At this stage, Desert Crown is potentially the best horse. I just think in terms of tomorrow, the more battle-hardened Stone Age would be the one for me.
Okay, Stone Age 9-2. Interesting point there from David. Yeah, in terms of horses coming into this off the back of their last run, the Dante's thrown up 6 winners. The 2000 Guineas has thrown up 5 winners, and we were expecting something, in particular Luxembourg, maybe even Iden or something out of that.
It's a shame he's not there, isn't it? Because
Because that is the form line that is missing from
Yeah,
this.
it is. I mean, after that Guineas performance, I think a few of us are thinking that could be the standout colt of the season. But we don't know exactly what's going to happen now. But now Desert Crown's come along and he could take up the mantle. But just going back, I don't think I'd want to back him.
Yeah, he did look inexperienced. I mean, he hung across the track a little bit. Yeah. He looked a picture in the paddock.
There's plenty more to come still, but just 2 runs going into a derby, it's just not really done, is it?
Yeah. Well, again, I mean, if he does win, he's a superstar, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, He'll go on and take all the beat and race like the King George and things like that.
Yeah. Okay, Desert Crown then is a 15-to-8 shot. Just must mention Pisbadil here, Tom, who's probably the one we haven't really gone into. Unlucky at Leopardstown, a little bit behind Duke de Sessa, could be 3 from 3. And Frankie, of course, will be. Well, I don't think he'll be having a sound night's sleep tonight, and he'll have the bit between his teeth tomorrow.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault, was it? Emily Upjohn, he did nothing wrong. She just stumbled at the start. Yeah, Pisbadil, he's right in there, isn't he? I thought it was interesting that they snapped up Frankie straight away. I would have thought Team Ballydoyle would have been quite keen to get him on side after Snowfall and all those winners he had for them last year. So the fact that he's running for Donecker and Flaxham Holdings is interesting. Obviously, he's got a great chance. I think Westover's a really good horse. I backed Westover for the Derby straight after he won at Sandown last year. I was so impressed with him.
You tipped him this when he won last time, didn't you? As well, you were.
Yeah. I like him as a horse. Whether he can win a top class Derby is if he was running against Serpentine and Wings and Eagles and those guys, I'd be quite keen on him. But this just has a feeling that it's a proper race again, doesn't it? After a few years, I mean, Adayar was good last year with Hurricane Lane and the boys, but it has a feeling that this is back to where the Derby should be, a really, really good race. I still have hopes that Westover's very good. But whether he can beat Desert Crown, Stone Age, Nation's Pride and the boys, Pisbadil, is a different kettle of fish.
Yeah, he could be a Voltager type or something like that more down the field.
He might just be slightly below top knot. I mean, a win a Group 1 somewhere, but maybe just not quite a race like this. So there's plenty in there. I personally, I'm on Stone Age, but I'd like Desert Crown to win in a way because it'd just be great to have an unbeaten colt that we can all get behind and back to the days where, it was really exciting watching these horses go to the King George, the Eclipse, then on to the Arc and all that sort of stuff. So we've had a few fillies do it recently, to Gruder and obviously Enable and stuff. We haven't really had that standout colt for a few years. So it'll be great if he wins and we can follow him through the rest of the season. But I just have a feeling it might be Stone Age's day tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, I think since Golden Horn, David, I think the stud fees for the Derby winners since then, I think your suit's probably worth more than them combined. It'd be nice to have a real top-class impressive Derby winner.
Yeah, it would. I think we're doing a slight disservice to last year's winner.
Yeah, fair.
Going on to win the King George. No, but funnily, I was asked this question earlier in the week. You make the point, well, you're not going to get a superstar every year, the same as you don't in any sport. But that's when a Golden Horn comes along, or an Adayar, or a See the Stars. When they come along, that's what makes them so special. And I do think, again, Tom is absolutely right, that Desert Crown clearly is the one that has the potential to be that horse. But so is a Stone Age. I mean, look, Tuesday again, look how many runs she'd had before she won her classic today. We've seen it time and time again with these Ballydoyle horses. They come good eventually. And yeah, I just think in terms of the here and now, particularly if it does come up a little bit softer, Stone Age has got that form on it. But Desert Crown, yeah, he did look really good at York. So much more to come. He's trained by a master, of course. But there's more than just those two in it, without any doubt.
Okay, very well. At home, Pisbadil want to watch, says Jesus. What have we got? Mike Smith's with Stone Age as well. Star of India for Darren Walker. Dimp is all over Desert Crown here. Changing of the guard for Kieran Catterson. Sharp Fitness look having a little bit on Sonny Liston as well at a big prize. Stone Age wins, says I Can Mix. Tom Leach is also on Stone Age at a decent prize. Nahani certain to stay. Kirby wins again, says Raymond Allen. And apart from the others, what else have we got? No others really. In fact, Kieran Katz says he ended up back in changing of the guard as well to win the Derby tomorrow. A couple of price boosts before we move on at Epsom tomorrow, David.
Of course, yeah, absolutely. We saw Aidan O'Brien win the Oaks today, of course. That was a price boost yesterday. It's another Aidan O'Brien Classic winner. Was 6-4, now 2-1. Of course, he's got 3 strong chances here. And also Desert Crown, if you do fancy the favourite, and plenty will. We are 5-2 for a maximum of 20 quid now for an hour or so at least.
Okay, there you go. What wins the 2022 Kazoo Derby, or what are you backing at least, Robbie?
Sonny Liston.
Sonny Liston. It's fair play.
Let's have it. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was just about to do some after timing, but no one wants to do that. Continue.
Yeah, we do. This is before, if it wins, it's before timing.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say last year, but carry on.
You had your last year, like you say.
Yeah, 33s, but that's enough about me.
Yeah, Sonny Liston then, stepping into the ring for Robbie. The 2022 Derby selection for you, Tom?
Well, I have backed Stone Age, Pisbadeel and Westover, so I'm expecting Desert Crown to win.
Very well. Like I said, I think that form with Nahani last time out is a little bit underrated, but it's almost too hot a race to get involved in, personally. David Stevens?
Stone Age first choice with a saver if the rain does come on changing of the guard.
Okay, well, let's hope that the Derby lives up to the promise on paper tomorrow for that 4:30 contest. Two more races at Epsom after the Derby. Off to the 5:15, the Whirlpool Northern Dancer Handicap. Here, 1.5 miles the distance, and last year's winner, Midnight's Legacy, comes back for another crack for Alan King, but it's Solent Gateway, who also won on this card last season, is 5-1 favourite. Midnight's Legacy 11-2, Boss Power is 6-1, Mascat 13-2, Farhand 7s, Arday 7s, Soapy Stevens 17-2, 10-1 Winter Reprise, and bigger prices the rest. Last 4 renewals of this competitive handicap have been won by unexposed 4-year-olds. No surprise to see a bit of money for Solent Gateway, with the very much in-form Harry Davies taking off a valuable £5. Robbie, are you with the 4-year-olds or the experience of the older horses?
Well, I think Soapy Stevens is a well-handicapped horse, but I think he's a stayer. I don't think he's going to like this 1 mile 4. If it does turn into a real slog, though, it'd be very interesting. The one I like was Mascat. Unlucky Ascot last time I won the Montalban. Made up most ground from off the pace that day. Really nice run there. He's been dropped £1 as well. I thought that was quite surprising. He's got Epsom form. Nearly won at Epsom on his first start for Joe Tizard a couple of starts back. So I could see him going very well. But yeah, another tough race. Okay, so tentative selection is? Yeah, tentative Mascat. Mascat, yeah, who very rarely runs a bad race at 13-2. 4-year-olds or the older bunch here, Tom, for you?
Don't know. Solent Gateway's got a very good chance, hasn't he? Back in trip, he'll go well. Farhan, on his November handicap form, is got a massive chance, but he was really disappointing at Hamilton last time, I'm guessing. So Holly Doyle's back on him. I could see him going well. One I like, and it's a big price. There is Winter Reprise, and I'm hoping the rain comes for David Menuisier, however we pronounce it these days. I just thought that he's mustard, the trainer is, in these Epsom handicaps. The horse ran another blinder, didn't he, today? Soto Sizzler. Migration. All those horses in these big handicaps run massive races, especially when there's some ease in the ground. I thought he ran really well at Saint Cloud last time, and I just thought he's the type of horse that could go under the radar because he's got a few sort of dodgy form figures by his name, but I think he's well capable of winning off his current mark. So Winter Reprise for me. Okay, Winter Reprise then it is at 10-1. Speaking to Paul Keeley earlier, he was fancied Soapy Stevens dropping back in trip, thought he wasn't been getting home, and I did think Farham was a little bit interesting. I know he's been quite well beaten on his last couple of starts, but he was well fancied last time out, and you get the feeling he's going to pop back up. He might well be an autumn horse, however, but the rain will certainly suit him down to the ground. David Stevens, what you got up your sleeve for this penultimate race?
Yeah, I'm going to be another vote for Mascat, of course, trained by Joe Tizard, a yard we know very well, normally throughout the jump season, but this horse finished second here in the Great Metropolitan, then went to Ascot, we finished third. He won't mind any rain, so there's a few I don't want rain for tomorrow, but Mascat, he won't mind it. And we are 4 places each way for this tricky-looking contest. Okay, thank you, David Stevens, for this 5:15. Last race on the Derby card tomorrow at Epsom is another tricky handicap. 6 furlongs the distance here for this red-hot sprint. Many a Star 4-1, Nelson Gaze 5-1, Comanche Falls 6s, Regional 7s, 9-1 Bergerac, 10-1 Alligator Alley, 10-1 Night on Earth, 11-1 Full Authority, and bigger prices the rest. Sprint handicap, well, only one money we go to for that. It's Tom Segal, but I'm sure you don't have a strong opinion in this, apart from the fact, Tom, I guess, after we saw with Bowman, and I distinctly remember us previewing this race last year, and we were all aboard Musica, front running at big odds, got beaten bang on the line, but is there anything that could pop out and ping the lids from the get-go? Yeah, Musica, he'd be my choice again. I thought he was really desperately unlucky last time. Sylvester's on, won't mind any rain.
I think this will have been the target. He's a lot lower in the weights this year. I think if it rains, him and Punch Bowl Flyer have good chances. Eve Johnson Horton, he's very good if the rain comes. Very good on soft ground. Ran much better last time. So while I'm not a sprint handicap fan, I must mention Many a Star. He was massively impressive last time at Ascot, wasn't he? Jockey's pretty good value for his claim. I thought but whether this is a step up in class. So for me, if the rain comes, Punch Bowl Flyer and Muskika.
Okay, Punch Bowl Flyer and Musica then in the last race. I thought Comanche Fall was a little bit interesting. Fast ground, small field last time out, wouldn't have suited, but of course that Goodwood win's rock solid. The Hamilton win looks good as well. Music Society beat there, won today, and box 2, and with a run under his belt, it worked for Dakota Gold for the similar connections. Well, Comanche Falls could be very interesting indeed at 6-1, especially with potentially a bit of ease in the ground. Final race on Derby Day?
Yeah, another sprint, eh?
Yeah, get rid of it.
Get Cullen. I've gone for Nelson Gay, kind of a similar line through to Stone of Destiny. I feel like he's probably been laid out for this race because on his return, he showed really well from off the pace over 5 on fast ground there behind Mockatil. He's always a good yardstick for the sprints at Epsom, that horse. He's been dropped a pound for that run. He's more of a 6 furlong type than a 5 furlong horse, so I think he'll be in the frame, certainly, Nelson Gay.
Okay, Nelson Gay it is then. David Stevens, 2 days at Epsom comes to a close with this sprint handicap. Please finish with a flourish.
4 places each way. Punch Bowl Flyer is 22-1. Musica, our old friend from last year, is 14-1. But I'm going to join you on Comanche Falls, 6-1 there. I see Stewards Cup winner last year. Won't mind if the rain does come, and hopefully is drawn well out of 2.
Yeah, absolutely. There we go. Well, fingers crossed that we team up and it works out, David. I'm not gonna say that you're a bad luck curse. That's Paul Keeley's job, and quite frankly, if he wanted to say that, he should have turned up. But Many a Star, 4-1 favourite for the last then at Epsom, and that brings to an end our preview shows for the Oaks and the Derby weekend. Let's see last few tips. Kieran Catterson, Comanche Falls definitely looks to have a big chance. Ross, I hope you are right with that, Kieran. He also quite fancies regional to run a big race for a very nice yard. Trevor Meeks likes Musica as well. But apart from that, Night on Earth for Sharp Fitness Look at 10-1 for, again, another in-form team. So bringing to an end our Derby preview tomorrow, it's got to be the naps of the day. What are the best bets on the Saturday afternoon at Epsom? Come to you first, Robbie. What's the best bet?
It's got to be Mutsabek in the Diamond Stakes at 3.10. I think he'll win.
There you go. I could have guessed that was an odds-on shot. Absolutely. Tom Segal, what's the nap of the day?
Mrs. Fitzherbert. I think she'll win.
Okay, Mrs. Fitzherbert then in the Princess Elizabeth. David, nap of the day?
Robbie has stolen Mutasabek, so I better stick in the big one and go with Stone Age. And just a quick reminder, of course, for our beaten by a length offer. Emily Upjohn, of course, was in that category today. You get your money back as a free bet up to a tenner, and have a go at our Racing Super Series game. It's free to play. Pick a horse to be placed in each of the 7 races. You could win all of, or indeed a share of 25 grand.
Lovely stuff. Thank you very much, David. And sticking with the 3-year-olds this year, that's one I've been following, and it worked today. Fingers crossed, Warhorse wins the opener tomorrow for my nap of the day on Saturday. That's it. That brings to an end Into the Know. Thank you to everyone for watching. Thank you to Robbie. Thank you to Tom. Thank you to David. And thank you to the producers as well. We'll be back for Red Hot Royal Ascot. At least I hope it's red hot. It was horrible ground last year. Let's hope that the sun comes out and we have a fantastic week. That's, 10 days away pretty much for that. So have a great weekend and stick with us here on In the Know. We'll be back for the best flat festival of the summer in 10 days' time.